Now at 7 o'clock, 2 Idaho firefighters shot and killed while responding to a wildfire, and the suspected gunman also found dead.
Plus, a major transportation bill fails to make it through the Oregon legislature. ODOT sounding the alarm of deep cuts coming their way.
How about this? A live look right now down at the Willamette River in downtown. Oh yes, we've got swimmers in swim trunks, bathing suits, even some Speedos out there from what I'm told.
They are ready to go. I love it.
Where are they going? They're going in the river. An early morning swim in the Willamette. We're going to explain why this group is doing this morning. All that coming up as we kick off the 7 o'clock hour of sunrise right now.
A very good Monday morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Stephanie Domerat.
And I'm Drew Carney. We are also joined, of course, by Rodney Hill and Chris McGinnis, fresh off his 2-week vacation.
He's back.
Ready to rock and roll. Rod, though, let's start with you here and a look at the weather.
Yeah, good morning. Big story today, the rising numbers. We did hit 90 as expected yesterday, becoming the third day so far this June and this kind of heat season of doing so. And today we know we're at least going to be hotter than that. Here's a look at our live camera at the State Capitol building in Salem, of course, 67. This is the comfortable time of the day, so get outside and get some things done if the heat tends to bother you. Here's the blue sky over the Rose City, now rising to 66 degrees already. I have an impact alert from noon through 8 p.m. today. 81 at noon, already feeling quite warm, and then the high today, 95. Not a record, but certainly hot enough to take some shelter from, perhaps. Here's Chris.
Hot enough. Yeah, stay hydrated today for sure. All right, let's get you out on the roads. This is I-5 down near Wilsonville. Your northbound commute moving from the bottom of your screen to the top. It's still rolling along, but it is getting busier from our last check for sure. I-5 from Clark County certainly slowing down just a bit near the Interstate Bridge. A quick look at the drive times right now bears that out. 13 minutes now. You're commuting from Main Street down to the Fremont. Quick check of the drive on the east side right now. Westbound I-84 a little slow coming in from Gateway. You'll hit that slowing right around 205. It's about a 20-minute commute to get you in from Troutdale. A reminder in the Oregon Coast Range, by the way, Highway 47 closed north of Mist near Highway 202 for part of that Messing Creek culvert replacement. The detour is a lengthy one. Happy Area Road, Highway 30, Highway 47. You know it, you love it. If you live out there, you know that is a lengthy addition to your commute this morning. Guys, back to you.
All right, Chris, thank you. Our top story this morning, what started as a call for a grass fire on Canfield Mountain near Coeur d'Alene turned deadly as firefighters were met with gunfire.
Investigators say the suspected shooter was also found dead over the weekend with a gun and cell phone nearby. Brandon T. Jones with their sister station in Spokane has more.
While that shelter in place has been lifted, you can still see it is very much an active scene here on Canfield Mountain. Officers have been coming and going throughout the morning. That smell of smoke also still lingers here in the air from that fire that was started yesterday. But there's still lots of details that haven't been released at this point. What we do know, this all started around 1:30 yesterday afternoon. Fire crews responding to a wildfire here on Canfield Mountain were shot while doing their job and serving their community. Cooney County Sheriff Bob Norris described the shooting as a total ambush and saying the firefighters didn't have a chance. The 2 firefighters killed, one from the Coeur d'Alene Fire Department, one from Kootenai County Fire and Rescue. Another from Coeur d'Alene Fire Department is still in the hospital. For hours, a shelter in place was issued to the area as law enforcement searched for the suspected shooter and man they believe started the fire. Sheriff Norris says they were briefed to neutralize the suspect and to eliminate the threat. Around 7:45, with the help of a cell phone signal, they located the suspect. Norris says they exchanged fire with the suspect, who was pronounced dead. At this point, it is unclear whether it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound or if it was a bullet from officers.
We believe that there's a likelihood that when we are able to enter the scene again tomorrow without the threat of fire, that we'll find other weapons that were placed. So this was a total ambush. These firefighters did not have a chance.
This is something that we don't train for. It's not something we expect. It's not something our firefighters should have to deal with.
So extremely difficult circumstances to navigate. Again, it's still early in this investigation process. Names and information about the victims and the suspect have yet to be released. Norris did note that nearly 300 law enforcement officers responded to this scene yesterday, including snipers and deployed helicopters. So as soon as we get any further details, we'll be sure to keep you updated across all of our platforms. But For now, here in Coeur d'Alene, Brandon T. Jones.
A procession took place for the two firefighters who died in that ambush shooting. Dozens of members of the public gathered on overpasses in North Idaho to show respect for the fallen firefighters. And back here closer to home, we are also following a developing story in Northwest Portland where a shelter in place is in effect this morning. Police are looking for two people who took off after a shooting last night near Northwest 26th and Petty Grove. That's near Wallace Park. Reports of possible gunfire came in around 9 o'clock. 4 suspects were initially on the run, but police did catch 2 of them. The other 2 remain on the loose this morning. Police are asking neighbors in that part of Northwest Portland to stay inside while the search continues.
All right, here's a live look from our state capitol now in Salem, where yesterday the legislative session officially closed. It ended without passing that much talked about $11 billion plus transportation bill. ODOT says it's going to have to start laying people off now as early as next week to make up for its budget gap.
Our Thomas Schultz joins us now in studio with more on this. And Thomas, what did lawmakers tell you about this?
Yeah, well, Drew and Stephanie, lawmakers and specifically Governor Tina Kotek say that this bill is just too big and too complicated. And at the end of the day, the legislature ran out of time. The bill was pushed by Democrats to shore up funding at ODOT and other agencies, laying out a plan to raise money through things like a gas tax hike and a new pay-per-mile tax system for electric vehicles. The Republicans had been pushing back on the bill, calling it the biggest tax hike in state history. On Friday, it died.
Their best idea was to crush Oregonians with more costs and more taxes. We're talking about an agency that needed a few $100 million to balance, and their response was a $12 billion transportation tax.
Republicans say they made several attempts to negotiate a balanced budget for ODOT, but say Democrats rebuffed their ideas. They add negotiations were more challenging because the transportation bill wasn't unveiled until a few weeks ago, though Democrats argue that it's just not that simple.
You know, I said in my closing speech that sometimes when things look easy, it's not that the thing was easy, it's that you put in a massive amount of work to get the thing done before it actually gets done in the legislature.
And of course, this is going to have big repercussions for ODOT. In a statement on Saturday, ODOT says they broadly shared that if the legislature did not address this shortfall during the legislative session, deeper cuts would have to start in the 2025-27 biennium. They add, next week, ODOT will begin the layoff process. By the end of July, hundreds of positions will no longer be at ODOT. And as a result, ODOT says Oregonians will soon have a less reliable transportation system, adding it'll do the best it can to keep Oregonians safe with less resources. Drew?
All right, Thomas Schultz live for us this morning here in the studio. Meanwhile, starting tomorrow, taking an Uber or Lyft in Portland is going to cost you more money. The city is bumping up its rideshare surcharge from 65 cents a ride all the way up to $2 a ride. The city approved that hike last month. It says it expects the higher charge will generate about $10 million a year for the Portland Bureau of Transportation, which officials also say is underfunded. The $2 rideshare surcharge means that Portland will now have the highest flat rider fee in the country. That's on top of whatever you pay for your time, distance, or surge pricing. Some similar sized cities that we looked into, we found out they charge either no extra fees or they charge less than $1. We also heard from some local rideshare drivers who said this steep increase could hurt their wallets.
Yeah, that seems like quite a big jump.
I'm not happy about it because I think we're going to get less people now because it's too expensive.
It is high. Yeah, I mean, it's high, and I am actually afraid that the number of rides are going to decrease.
A lot of customers nowadays getting a rental car because of that, because the prices are raising up.
In a statement, a spokesperson for Uber said, quote, applying such an expensive fee citywide for everyday trips without any clear justification is not something we see in other markets. Coming up here at 7:30, KGW investigative reporter Kyle Aboshi will take a deeper dive into all this after following the rideshare surcharges in Portland for years.
Let's give you a live look outside now at the Willamette River. There we go, where a group of early risers are not only taking a dip in the water, they are swimming a lap across the Willamette River, Drew.
So if you haven't heard about the River Hugger swim team before, they've been doing this swim for about 14 years. They say it all started with a, quote,
there they go,
recreational protest swim when it was still not legal to swim in the Willamette River. And yep, there they are, Stephanie, hopping in and swimming from one side, the east side, of the Portland banks there, all the way over to the downtown Portland side on the west. They say they want others to come out and enjoy this open water swimming business. And I say, No way, Jose. Not because I'm not down with the swimming in the Willamette itself. I'm just not a very strong swimmer.
Well, that's important.
I'm going to throw it out there.
Yeah, you shouldn't go in there if you don't have the capacity to be able to do that. But it's a nice morning out there, really, to take a swim, right, Ron?
Yeah, water probably feels pretty good. Pretty good swim, too, Mr. Carney. As you know, across.
Yeah.
And across.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you go one way, you got to get back the other.
You do. You got to get back. Here's a look at our watch warning map. The Weather Service has a heat advisory up for this colored zone, which includes the Dalles and then eastward into Pendleton and then up into Washington, all of Wasco County. For temperatures generally close to 100 today and tomorrow, with the hottest temperatures up to 102, 103 expected to be, especially out toward Pendleton and north up into Washington on Tuesday. So everybody inland from the coast expecting a hot Monday. Now, the coast is a different animal this morning. There's the camera from the Channel House in Depot Bay looking up 101, and all of our coast cameras are similar, just really foggy, kind of socked in there this morning. Here's a look at Timberline Lodge. All of our inland cameras show clear skies, even up at 6,000 feet at 60 degrees. So that shows you that the batch of air, what we call the air mass itself, is really warm and just ripe for temperatures to eventually soar during the afternoon hours. Here's our Chehalem tasting room camera out over the vineyard in Sherwood, 64 degrees. Temperatures are about the same everywhere. It's it's already 70 in Forest Grove. Look at that. We do have light winds being reported. Sandy, 55 degrees, a little more comfortable out the door, or cool anyway. Salem's a 67, Kaiser 59, 61 up in McMinnville. At the beach, it's the one spot I'm not sure of. We have the fog right now. Will it be a sunny afternoon or will the fog banks kind of hover? That could go either way. Temperatures generally at least expected at 60, maybe warmer if you folks develop some sunshine, could get up to 70. Here's the map this afternoon. Notice inland areas pretty much all 90 or better. And then here's the 7-day forecast. KGW weather impact alert for this afternoon, 95. We start to cool off tomorrow. We're back down to 80 by Wednesday. And that is your update.
Rod, thanks for that. Let's get you out the door with a quick look at the trip out of Clark County. I-5 southbound now, slow and steady approaching the Interstate Bridge. Right now, your drive in from Main Street holding right around 13 minutes or so. Obviously, 205 still operating at its speed limit clip, so that looks pretty good. South of town, I-5 near Wilsonville. ODOT's got the camera zoomed in here down towards the Boone Bridge. Traffic a little thick there, but it looks like we're still moving along okay. And door number 3 takes us over to the Banfield. Westbound I-84 still looking okay through the Hollywood district. Right now, you're looking at 20 minutes or so to get you from Troutdale. Heads up in southeast Portland for the thousands of you that travel along Powell Boulevard between 205 and Powell Butte. That's out near 174th. Lane shifts, traffic holds up to 20 minutes at a time all week long, guys. This is from 8 to 5. So Powell Boulevard, if that's part of your commute throughout the day today, there may be some delays there all day long. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Chris. Coming up on Sunrise at 7 o'clock, the city of Beaverton hosts free weddings and free vow renewals for Pride Month. We're going to take a look back at the knots that were tied over the weekend.
And imagine being 73 years old and traveling 50 kilometers in 50 days in all 50 states.
Say what?
That's after the break.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
The city of Beaverton recognized the 10-year anniversary of the nationwide legalization of same-sex marriage over the weekend with free weddings and free vow renewals. It was all part of the city's Pride Parade and celebration event on Sunday. The city said yesterday's Pride event may have been its biggest one yet.
A few years ago, it was very short and very brief, but in the past couple years, it's grown and grown and grown, and now it feels substantial.
There's such a large gathering of school kids sharing in this event, and it's great. You see little boys in tutus and girls in Superman costumes. It's just about expressing yourself, and that's what's nice.
The 2025 Portland Pride Parade, meanwhile, is happening on Sunday, July 20th. It starts at 11 in the morning in Portland's North Park blocks and will go about a mile. The parade is part of the larger Portland Pride Waterfront Festival that begins the day before on Saturday, July 19th.
And speaking of moving for a mission, a 73-year-old man is walking and cycling 50 kilometers in all 50 states in 50 days. By the way, that's about 30 miles.
Yeah.
We just looked that up for you. He is hoping to inspire seniors to get up and get moving. He started his journey in Hawaii. Now the California resident recently made his way through more than 30 states.
I realized that unless I did something crazy, it wouldn't draw attention to this important project. We're stopping at senior centers to talk with the seniors, to encourage them, to empower them, to motivate them, just to connect with them and to talk to them about what factors in life make life more enjoyable.
Get up and move. That is an incredible accomplishment. All the people he's meeting along the way makes it really fun.
And we really like the 50-50-50 theme. 50 kilometers, 50 days, 50 states. But Rod, as soon as you say kilometers, everyone says, well, how long is that?
That's what I said. I was like,
right?
How long
So
is that?
30-ish.
Yes, we looked that up, 31, if you wondered.
Well, I walked, I don't know, I think they say it's like 6 miles. Is it that far? I played golf both days over the weekend.
Nice.
Which is a good walk.
That is.
So you think you got 12 miles in this weekend?
Perhaps. That seems a lot, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just playing tennis, you mean on the court? That many steps?
No, golf.
Well, on the golf.
Okay.
But when you hit your, but you know,
Oh my,
you hit your ball
it's
over
really,
here,
really early
and
for
then
me.
you hit your ball over here, and then over here it goes out of bounds, so you got to walk
A
back
lot of
to
walking.
here, and then you got to hit again, and then you go to there. Yeah, it's a lot of walking. Yeah.
I would think that if you did 12 miles of walking this weekend, you would not be here this morning. You would have taken this morning off.
He's fit.
What do I know?
Thank you, Stephanie.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hey, notice the clouds going up, 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 and around us. High pressure ridge, not the biggest ridge in the world, but it is doing its thing, keeping us dry, giving us sunshine away from the coast, and allowing temperatures to warm up. Here are some live cameras. Speaking of golf, we're on is that rather early on the back nine. That's a 10th tee right there at Lewis River Golf Course up in Woodland. Beautiful sunny morning there. Pioneer Park building, bricks are going to be hot later today. Flags are moving a little bit, so there's a slight breeze in downtown. 66, calm winds out at PDX, Kelso 62. We have fog up and down the beach, 52 Newport, 56 Astoria, but inland areas are all sunny and generally in the 60s at this hour. Here's Futurecast. And I do want to point out, this is this evening, coming up from the south, a threat of thunderstorms that could get up into central Oregon. There's another threat of storms coming up from the south into central Oregon tomorrow. And of course, heightened concern for potential fire starts from that lightning activity. All right, so today it's all about the sun here in the valley and the rising numbers. It shows Salem 96 degrees, southwest Washington, Longview gets up to 91. Here's our 7-day forecast. We have the KGW weather impact alert up for a high of 95 this afternoon. It was 90 yesterday, so you know you're going to feel a bump in the temperature department, no doubt. And then tomorrow we're back down to 87. But if the heat bothers you, you'll want to plan around the afternoon hours today. By Wednesday, we're back down to 80, certainly more comfortable. July 4th right now, mostly sunny, and 82 degrees expected. And that is your forecast. Here's Mr. McGinnis.
Rod, thanks for that. Let's give you a quick look at your drive times. 2:05, not bad over the Glen Jackson Bridge out of Clark County this morning. That's greater than a speed limit clip, but the I-5 drive slowing down just a little bit. Here's a live look At SR 14, looking down towards the Interstate Bridge, so a little slow and go there. And as we switch gears down to Wilsonville, I-5 northbound traffic building a bit there, but so far no major trouble on that side of town. Banfield, Interstate 84 westbound, that looks pretty good as well. Yeah, I was hoping to get the drive time, but in any event, I could show you the traffic map here is mostly in green. We have a couple slow spots showing up now on I-205 southbound through Oregon City and Westland. But guys, so far, our Monday morning commute off to a relatively good start.
All right, Chris, thank you. Well, still ahead on Sunrise, Washington farms are feeling the impact of immigration raids. Workers fearing deportation are staying away from the fields. We'll be right back with that story.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Here's a look at some national and world headlines with your morning rush. The U.S. Senate is holding a marathon voting session this morning on a sweeping funding package backed by President Trump. This is a live look from the Senate chambers in D.C. Senators can introduce an unlimited number of amendments today to the president's Big Beautiful Bill. Republicans are pushing to get that bill passed by this Friday. Over the weekend, we know that all but 2 Republicans voted to advance the measure in a procedural vote. Women can now be drafted into the military in Denmark. Men and women can still volunteer, but the remaining openings will be filled by a gender-neutral draft lottery. Denmark says it's trying to increase the number of young people in its military. We also know at least 46 people were killed in Pakistan after a week of heavy rains and flash flooding there. Officials say the deaths include 13 tourists from a family of 17. Pakistan's annual monsoon season runs from July through September. And that's a look at your morning rush. Meanwhile, in the state of Washington, fears of deportation are keeping hundreds of farm workers from the fields. And that impact is being felt in Wenatchee, where fruit and money are both being thrown away. Eric Wilkinson, with our sister station in Seattle, has more.
Rosa Hernandez is tired, not just from her long days of picking fruit in this Wenatchee orchard, from the constant stress on her friends and family.
Right now there's a lot of fear.
My hand's going behind my back. Fear of being arrested and deported, whether you're documented or undocumented. Social media posts are spreading rumors about ICE checkpoints and mass farm worker deportations. None of that has been verified in Washington state, but the damage is done. Workers are simply staying home. This farm alone is down 50% of its normal workforce.
The chaos that they see on social media, the chaos that they see on the news, the chaos that they see or they hear, is going to happen everywhere else.
The harvest season here in Wenatchee has a short window, a window that is closing quickly. The lack of workers literally leaving fruit rotting on the vine. Carlos Torres says he's looking at losing a third of his cherry crop because depleted workers can't pick it fast enough. With apples and pears still waiting to be harvested, Carlos worries this is just the beginning of a long, fruitless summer.
We have to borrow money from the bank. The bank expects you to harvest everything and get paid. If we don't pay on time, they just cut our funding and that's it.
According to the USDA, 40 to 50% of migrant farm workers are undocumented. But without them, food goes spoiled, farms go under, and prices go up. The president of Washington's Fruit Tree Association says the Trump administration must allow immigrants to stay in the fields, documented or not, unless they've committed serious crimes.
First step in getting positive action is recognizing a problem. And I think that we have that at this point.
Yes.
As for Rosa Hernandez, she picks food for America's families so she can feed her own.
If the cycle is broken, it's going to be chaos.
In Wenatchee, Eric Wilkinson, King 5 News.
Coming up here on Sunrise, 7 people hurt in a series of separate shootings in Portland over the weekend. We're going to hear from Police Chief Bob Day, who called it a tough 12 hours for the city. Also in our next half hour, we'll take a look at this big plume of smoke from a large fire that happened near Fisher's Landing. What we know about this fire, still ahead. Live look outside now, pretty sunrise on this Monday morning. We've got Rod Hill on standby. He'll have a closer look at the week's forecast. He's also going to take a look ahead to the weekend forecast. A lot of people want to know about the 4th of July. That is on Friday, and of course the weekend to follow. All of that coming up here as KGW News at Sunrise, streaming live at 7 o'clock, continues in just a moment.
KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly.
We were coming up on 7:29 on your Monday morning drive. It's getting to be a little busy out there. 205 southbound specifically from Oregon City to Westland over the Abernathy Bridge. Right now our speed sensor showing traffic kind of puttering along there at about 20 miles an hour. There's a live look at the Sylvan Hill. The sun is right in the driver's eye as folks come in from the west side on Highway 26. It's slow and go from there down into the Vista Ridge Tunnel. Right now you're looking at about a 17-minute drive, which is not bad from Hillsborough. And a quick check of the trip out of, let's see, Clark County right now. The I-5 drive puttering along a little bit at the Interstate Bridge, but again, not bad. 15 minutes gets you in from Main Street. Rod?
Yeah, not bad, Chris. Thank you for that. We have a beautiful sunny morning, and this will be the comfortable part of your day, so take advantage. We have afternoon heat coming. 67 in Salem right now. Here's the Rose City camera, 66 degrees, winds are calm. KGW weather impact alert for 95 degrees this afternoon. Again, plan your day accordingly. 81 at noon, and there's that high of 95 at 5. It does appear that tomorrow will bring the temperature back down to around 87. Still warm, obviously. And then a further cool off starts Wednesday.
We are starting with a Corgi Beach takeover in Seaside over the weekend. How cute is this? More than 1,000 of these lowrider dogs socialized on the beach.
They have a race.
I love that, lowrider dogs. Some participated in costume contests and some took part in a race, as you saw there. This was organized by the Oregon Humane Society. And this year's event is expected to raise nearly $30,000 for their programs. The organization says the event drew attendees from all over, including Oklahoma, Indiana, Kentucky, even Germany. I love that.
So I didn't know you were doing this story. I saw this with my own 2 eyes over the weekend. I was in Seaside on Saturday and yesterday. I was there to host the Miss Oregon competition. Nice. By the way, we have a new Miss Oregon who will represent the state at the Miss America competition. Her name is Maya Cash.
Oh, congrats.
Maya.
Where's she
Cash? From the Salem area.
Okay.
So I don't know exactly where, but I know the Salem area. This much I also know, though, Rod. She's scheduled to come into the show tomorrow. We're planning to do a live interview with the new Miss Oregon tomorrow on Sunrise. Well, more on that later. I didn't mean to steal all the thunder from the Corgis just now, but there were a few things happening in Seaside, Rod, over the weekend.
Fun.
I think it's the first time I've seen a Corgi race.
It was really cute. And they were all dressed up, too.
I found myself feeling bad for the dogs that were in last because I'm really slow. Whenever there's a race, that's always me going, everybody's finished? No way. I still got like 15 minutes to go here. All right, here's a look at our Lincoln City camera, Snookwinds Casino Resort. Foggy. It's been that way all morning. All of the coast cameras show similar conditions. And I'm not sure if this fog completely clears or not. It may push out. If it does, you folks will get up to about 70. If it just kind of hovers, you'll be doing well just to get up to about 60 for a high. That, to me, is uncertain. We know it's going to be clear all day inland here in the Rose City, and we are at 66 degrees. Temperatures going up at this point. KGW weather impact alert this afternoon for the hot weather, 81 at noon. Yesterday was 90. Today, 95. Here's Chris.
Hot Rod. Hot Rod. All right, let's get you out the door. The drive's starting to slow down just a little bit. Oregon City to Westland over the Abernathy Bridge, right on cue. There we go, really slow and go now, right over the Abernathy Bridge. So that little section of 205 South is one of our bigger slow spots this morning. Over on the west side, this is at Sylvan. Not sure what ODOT's got there going on in the westbound Sylvan exit ramp. We'll keep you posted on that, though. Maybe it looks like they're just getting ready to set up some road work signs or something like that. Your drive inbound on the Sunset's up to about 18 minutes or so from that part of town to get you in from Hillsborough. Quick check behind door number 3. I want to switch gears real quick and show you what that looks like on the Banfield. That's also one of our other slow spots this morning. So far, guys, despite some slowing here or there, we're off to a relatively good start right now.
Thank you, Chris. Top story here at 7:30. A series of shootings this past weekend in different parts of Portland left at least 7 people hurt.
Portland Police Chief Bob Day addressed members of the media after the flurry of violence. KGW's John Adams has the story.
A spree of gun violence across the city of Portland started just after midnight early Saturday morning. A 16-year-old is accused of firing over 24 shots at a private event that had over 100 people in attendance. 4 people, including a 15-year-old, were hit and taken to the hospital. They're all expected to survive. The 16-year-old suspect is now in juvenile detention, facing multiple counts of attempted murder.
Violence should never become acceptable in our city. We should never just see this as appropriate.
Police Chief Bob Day spoke on this and other overnight incidents, including a shooting at a convenience store on Northeast Lombard, where a man was shot in the jaw. 2 other individuals sustained gunshot wounds in the leg. One of those incidents happened around 4:15 a.m. on North Maryland, and the other took place just after 9:30 at Southwest 12th in Columbia. The individuals shot in the leg are both expected to survive. Chief Day tells us the suspects got away in all 3 of these cases.
Those investigations are ongoing. Obviously hoping to make arrests. They're being followed up on by our safety team that focuses on gun violence.
The chief calling the night of violence disappointing and sad.
There's a lot of mixed emotions, but primarily in my role as chief, it weighs heavy on me because I know this is not what Portland is or what Portland needs to be about.
And that was our John Adams reporting. Now, Portland homicide detectives are also investigating the death of a man in police custody. It started as a disturbance call just after 10 o'clock Friday night on North Argyle Way off Columbia Boulevard. Officers say a man was reportedly flooding his apartment with water and hanging knives from his window. Shortly after they arrived, officers called for an ambulance. Paramedics took the man to a hospital where he later died. The officers in this case are now on leave as part of the investigation.
We're hearing from a Vancouver mom this morning after a man tried to abduct her 5-year-old right outside their house. She says she noticed a white Nissan Versa sitting on her street before one of her twin 5-year-old daughters came running back inside the home. You can actually see the child running back inside on this Ring security video. All of this while the white Versa drives away.
My daughter come busting in the door to let me know that a man out here told her to go onto the street and he would give her the toy if she met him on the street. Mentally, it's constantly racing in my mind over and over that it even happened and what could have happened.
The 21-year-old suspect, Alexander Reitbrock, is now in custody. Turns out Vancouver police arrested him earlier this year for trying to pay teen girls for sex. He posted bail at the time and was released.
We're learning to learn more this morning about a fire near Fisher's Landing in Vancouver. We spoke to people who could see the flames, including one person who lived nearby.
We came from downtown Vancouver, a little past that. We came all the way here. I mean, just follow the smoke.
It's in the stratosphere. It's out there.
It's way out there.
There's about 60-foot flames on the east side of our property. Looked like the mill. We're pretty lucky. We live in a county and a district that's well supported with our firefighters and EMS personnel.
Our photojournalist on scene says the fire was nearly out by 8:30 last night.
We are continuing to cover the add-on fees for rideshare services like Uber and Lyft in the city of Portland.
Now, the $2 fee means Portland now has the highest surcharge in the country. Investigative reporter Kyle Laboshi explains.
The convenience of Uber and Lyft is becoming more costly for passengers in Portland. Starting next week, riders will face a $2 surcharge for every trip, up from 65 cents. Rideshare drivers worry the steep increase could impact business.
Yeah, that seems like quite a big jump.
I'm not happy about it because I think we're going to get less people now because it's too expensive.
It is high. Yeah, I mean, it's high, and I am actually afraid that the number of rides are going to decrease.
A lot of customers nowadays getting a rental car because of that, because the prices are raising up.
The Portland City Council approved the increased fees last month in hopes it will generate $10 million to support the city's Bureau of Transportation.
We know that the Transportation Bureau is starved for money.
In a statement, Uber explained applying such an expensive fee citywide for everyday trips without any clear justification is not something we see in other markets. Some similar-sized cities don't charge any extra fees, while others charge less than $1. But at $2 per ride, Portland now has the distinction of the highest surcharge in the country, or flat rider fee that doesn't count time, distance, or surge pricing. In 2018, a KGW investigation found the city had collected more than expected in Uber and Lyft surcharges.
Right now, we have about $3 million in excess dollars.
Since then, the city of Portland has collected even more revenue.
It's happening in a lot of cities.
Sergio Avidian, senior contributor at the Rideshare Guy website, says Uber and Lyft surcharges are an attractive option for local governments looking to increase revenue.
They're cash strapped, right? It's easy. And I mean, who doesn't use rideshare services these days, right? And each trip, in Portland's case, if it's going to be $2, it amounts to massive amounts of revenue for the city.
Kyle Laboshi, KGW News.
Well, check this out. It's not often you find water polo matches in Oregon's chilly waters, but that is exactly what happened over the weekend in Lake Oswego. Teams from up and down the West Coast were in town for the second annual men's and women's open water polo tournament. It's hosted by Oswego Lake Neighbors and the Lake Oswego Polo organization. A portion of the lake near the Lakeshore Inn was actually closed off for the competition. We caught up with 2 participating Lake Ridge High School graduates who are also getting ready to play collegiate water polo in the fall.
It's like all the things that I love. Like I used to play basketball, I used to do swimming. I just kind of combine them into 2 things that I really love the most.
I hope that water polo continues to grow in Oregon. It's such a special sport, and it's really added a lot to my life, and I feel like it can do the same for so many people.
The weekend's tournaments included 8 men's teams and 5 women's teams. If you missed it and want to check it out, the competition continues today not far from Millennial Plaza Park. And it was a warm one over the weekend.
Yeah.
Good time to be in the water or near the water, wouldn't you say, Ron?
Absolutely. We did hold in the 70s on Saturday, but we hit 90 as expected yesterday, and we're easily going to soar up into the 90s today. The Weather Service, not for the valley, but they do have a heat advisory up for today and tomorrow from the Dalles, all of Wasco County, out toward Pendleton, up north into Washington, including Yakima. High temperatures in this area, at least 95 to as much as 103. For many areas, Pendleton up through Walla Walla, for example, the hotter temperatures will be tomorrow. Here's the Oregon Veterans Home camera in the Dalles right now, zoomed in at the countryside in Mount Hood, 62, calm winds. You folks could hit 100 degrees today. Here's the Reserve Vineyards and Golf Club out in Aloha in Washington County, 66. And there's the view off to the east of the clear skies and the same temp out of PDX, 66. Joy is our KGW dog of the day. Hello, Joy. Looks like on the beach there. Dog of the day at kgw.com is the email address. Send us your dog's photo name. Your dog will become our dog of the day. All right, so today's forecast inland, everybody's hot. Generally 90 degrees or better. You can see it on the map here at 5 o'clock, 95 in Salem. The coast is cloudy and foggy right now, mostly foggy, and I'm not sure how that's going to play out. So you folks, it's not really worth me guessing. Maybe the fog bank pushes out and you get up to 70. Some areas could stay foggy all day and only see highs around 60. Inland, though, we've got an impact alert up for Portland for the heat this afternoon. Remember to plan your day accordingly. 95 by tomorrow, 87 by Wednesday. We're back down to 80 degrees. The more comfortable weather returns. Here he is, Chris McGinnis, back from vacation.
Thank you for that. Reminder on Outer Powell Boulevard, Highway 26, that is, right between 205 and Gresham. There will be lane shifts and ongoing road work that could mean traffic holds up to 20 minutes. 8 to 5 today and through the week. More on that coming up in a minute. Out to Highway 47 in the Coast Range. A reminder here, Highway 47 closed near the Messing Creek crossing for culvert replacement. It's a lengthy detour and a lengthy closure for folks that use that road. That closure in effect until August 21st. All right, the drive times right now getting busier on I-5, but not bad. 17 minutes for southbound commute from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. There's the live look right now at SR 14, so a little slow and go there. And a little slow through Wilsonville as well. Northbound I-5 bunches up from about the, Charbonneau area up and over the Boone Bridge, and then traffic speeds pick up once you get north of Wilsonville. Guys?
Hey, quick heads up here. Not just for you, Chris McGinnis, but for everyone who's watching this morning. If you're heading to Sauvie Island, the beaches on Sauvie Island for the 4th of July holiday, you're going to need a pass and a permit. One of them is free. One of them will cost you. We're going to explain this new system after this quick break.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
If you are planning to go to the beaches at Sauvie Island this warm holiday weekend, you do want to make sure you have your parking permit and pass ready to show. Starting this 4th of July, you will need a pass to park there.
The Department of Fish and Wildlife says the added cost is an effort to address the issue of large crowds and too many cars on the island. Here's KGW's Celine Stevens with the details.
I think it's a wonderful thing.
That's going to create a lot of chaos.
Opposing opinions about the new pilot program for parking at Sauvie Island beaches. It's a limited entry pass that beachgoers will need for holidays and weekends, in addition to the wildlife area parking permit, if they want to park at the beaches starting this 4th of July.
We have about 900 spots there, and we can see on some days over 2,600 vehicles. There's a lot of vehicles crossing now on a hot day like this.
The Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife says problems with double parking on dry, grassy areas that can start a fire, and the need to keep the roads clear for emergency service vehicles make this pass a necessity.
Last year there was a fire that blocked part of Reeder Road, and we had to direct a lot of people on some of our other roads to get them safely off the area. So that really just brought up the safety issue that we've had for a long time.
Residents in the area are thrilled.
When you have thousands of people on the beach, how do you find that person who's double parked behind somebody else? How do we get people off the island safely? People are just going to have to plan ahead, and I don't think that that's a bad thing.
Meanwhile, many beachgoers I spoke with weren't aware of the change, but aren't as happy.
Really inconvenient, especially if you've already bought your pass for the year like we have. It does get really crowded. So I can sort of understand where they're coming from and trying to limit. But I don't know, I think it just complicates things.
ODFW says you should get your pass ahead of time online or from a license agent.
So if people want to know where they can find the pass, you can go to myodfw.com. We have an opportunity there to see where all the license agents are throughout the state.
That won't stop some from still coming out and enjoying the sun.
No, it won't deter us. It's just a great little escape to get away from Portland, and we really enjoy being out here, so we'll follow it.
Celine Stevens, KGW News.
A lot of people looking ahead to the holiday weekend, a good place to enjoy it, and the weather's going to be pretty nice too.
So one thing we said last week, we gave a kind of an outlook for the July 4th holiday weekend, and at that point I said the only thing I've got reasonable confidence in is that we won't have a heat wave this coming Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It still looks like we're going to be anywhere from about 80 to 84, so pretty nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
very comfortable.
I wouldn't say I have complete confidence of us being all dry. There's a couple little wrinkles that you're thinking, could that produce a scattered shower, thunderstorm? But it does look like temperatures will be comfortable for sure. For today, here's your planner. If you are just joining us, we are expecting 95 degrees this afternoon. Right now in Portland, 66, noon sunny 81, 5 p.m. 95. Red because of the KGW weather impact alert to grab your attention for this afternoon, early evening, to remind you to plan your activities around the heat if that sort of thing tends to bother you. We have the impact alert up from noon to about 8 p.m. Exhaustion, if you're out in the direct sunlight, sunburn risk escalates, of course, 95-degree heat, shade, water, sunscreen, hat, all of that, especially if you're going to be outside for an extended period of time. Now, we do have fog at the coast this morning, and I'm kind of going out of my way to tell you that I'm not sure how this is going to play out. Wouldn't be surprised if the fog banks kind of hover in some areas. Wouldn't be surprised if they push out to sea a little bit. I think at most they'll push out to sea, and then you can see it out there, but you'll have some sun over the beach. 52 right now from our Chinook Winds Casino Resort camera in Lincoln City. Downtown and all inland areas are perfectly clear. 66 in Portland, as we saw a moment ago. Here are the other numbers. Kelso, good morning, 62. You're expected to hit 90 today. It's clear up into Seattle, where it's 65. Clear out through the Dalles, where it's 62. Baker City, the cool spot, one of the cool spots at 54. I do want to point out one concerning item that we'll be watching is what looks to be, for the most part, a daily risk, at least through Wednesday or Thursday, of late day evening thunderstorms coming up from the south. This shows them coming up near Medford and then perhaps weakening around Bend. Here's tomorrow, late afternoon, evening, another round of thunderstorms that could move up into Bend. And of course, the big concern here is potential fire starts from lightning. So that's going to be monitored very carefully this week. That could go on for days and days, that late day threat east of the Cascades primarily. All right, the coast today again. This shows 70 Pacific City. You would need some clearing to do that. I'm not sure how that fog pattern is going to work out today. We do know it's going to be clear inland all day. Sunny, hot afternoon. Salem, 96 degrees. Yesterday we had sporadic afternoon breezes bouncing 10 to 20. I think we'll get that again today. Longview 92, Battleground 94, and Vancouver 95. I've got Portland at 95. Again, yesterday we made it to 90. The record today is 100. And we are in that time of the year now where records are generally 100 degrees or better. 87 tomorrow, so it looks like we will bring it down, and then we're back into the more comfortable zone midweek on Wednesday, Thursday. Not sure what northwesterly flow. Some of these mornings, Wednesday, Thursday into July 4th, could start with some cloudiness before we get the sun, but it looks like we're going to be comfortable, as I mentioned, on July 4th and the following Saturday, Sunday, Chris.
Rod, thanks for that. Let's take you live to Southeast Portland. Photojournalist Chad Dehart on the scene here at Powell Boulevard out near 109th. You're looking at the westbound lanes here that are coned off with some shoulder work there. We're bringing attention to this because phase 2 of the Outer Powell Improvements Project continues. And what that means is that there will be occasional lane shifts, some shoulder work, and even some lane closures throughout the week from 8 to 5. And what ODOT is reporting is potentially some traffic holds up to 20 minutes in the area. Again, so just be aware of that. Highway 26, Powell Boulevard, between about 174th and I-205 will be your slow spot potentially. All right, slow right now on the roads northbound I-5 from Charbonneau up over the Boone Bridge to Wilsonville Road. Traffic really puttering along there. That is our latest slow spot, guys. We'll keep you posted.
Okay, Chris, thank you so much. Let's give you a live look now at the Willamette River, where a group of early risers were not only taking a dip into the water, but they are swimming a lap across the Willamette River. They're still going. You can see them there. And it started on the east side of the river, going west. So they're coming
towards downtown.
Land.
Yeah,
exactly.
Kind of crazy. If you're familiar with the group Human Access Project, local nonprofit that's all about creating recreational opportunities in the Willamette, this River Hugger Swim Club is part of Human Access Project. They've been doing this for 14 years. They say they started it with, quote, a recreational protest swim when it was still not legal to swim in the Willamette. But obviously you can do it now, and they encourage other people to join them. They're going to do this throughout the summer months, so check out the River Huggers Swim Club.
I think Gilbert's purpose was to be with Melissa and Mark.
Coming up next on Sunrise, we will get to know Gilbert, the beloved dog of the assassinated Minnesota lawmakers who stayed by their side until the very last moment. Stay with us.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
Welcome back to Sunrise. Former Minnesota House Speaker Melissa Hortman, her husband Mark, and their dog Gilbert all laid in state at Minnesota's Capitol Rotunda last Friday.
They were shot and killed 2 weeks ago at their home by a man posing as a police officer. Hortman's beloved dog Gilbert was honored at the ceremony too for his loyalty. Sammy Selena has more.
A cloudy, sad day. A solemn, quiet sight. 2 caskets joined by a little urn and a thought that brings a bit of solace.
I was glad that he's with them.
Melissa and Mark Hortman met their buddy, Gilbert, through Helping Paws, a nonprofit that trains and places service dogs. Gilbert actually failed the program. He was just too friendly.
I think he represents the innocence in all of this.
Elisa Golub is the executive director. She's bringing together volunteer trainers and pups like Petra and Jordy Stratman.
We were asked to stand in the honor guard for Melissa and Mark and Gilbert, which is a huge honor for us. They were our neighbors and our friends and her babysitter.
Petra, Gilbert's playmate, did make the cut. She is one of the dogs who greeted people when they entered the rotunda, including former President Joe Biden.
We had a lot of people come up and want to pet them, and of course they're service dogs, so I broke the rules a little bit.
He's happy he can give some support, but he's grieving too.
It's hard to watch or have people come up and crying, and it just makes it harder. It was rough. Seeing the caskets and the urn, it tears at my heart.
Gilbert didn't make the cut.
It's exactly what they're meant to do, help people.
But if that's the job of a service dog,
I think Gilbert's purpose was to be with Melissa and Mark.
Then Gilbert didn't fail at all.
And we just didn't know it then.
That was Sammy Selena reporting for us. Coming up in the 8 o'clock hour, KGW Sunrise continues live on KGW Plus with new updates on that shelter-in-place order we're following in the Pearl District after a shooting there last night.
We're also going to share some new information for you about a new HIV treatment. All that coming your way at 8 o'clock, streaming live right here on KGW Plus.